Well, tonight, two popular burger restaurants top the dirty dining list. Plus, a restaurant owner who gets irate when asked about the dead rodent found in a restaurant.
Somewhere in America, you are staring at a fast food receipt wondering when $18 became the standard price for a soggy, lukewarm burger. You are not crazy. You are being robbed. Wall Street investment firms decided your loyalty was a weakness they could exploit. They bought your favorite childhood burger chains, stripped the quality, injected the buns with chemicals, and doubled the prices. But not everyone sold out. Today, we expose the 5 absolute worst burger chains that are quietly poisoning your wallet and your gut, and the 5 safe havens that actually still respect you. Keep a tight grip on your steering wheel. Let's dig in. The 5 worst burger chains. 5. Burger King. You remember the jingle. Have it your way. It used to mean you could get a freshly flame-broiled burger customized exactly how you wanted it. Today, it is a hollow marketing slogan masking one of the most disastrous corporate management strategies in the entire fast food industry. Burger King is owned by Restaurant Brands International. That is the exact same Toronto-based mega-corporation that owns Popeyes and Tim Hortons. When Restaurant Brands International buys a company, they implement a ruthless financial strategy called zero-based budgeting. In plain English, that means every single expense must be justified from scratch every single quarter. They aggressively slash costs, cut corners on ingredient quality, and squeeze their local franchise owners for every possible penny. The result? The local owners go bankrupt. In 2023 and 2024, massive Burger King franchise operators filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, resulting in the permanent closure of hundreds of restaurants across the country. The people running the stores literally could not afford to keep the lights on while paying their exorbitant corporate royalties. And what about the food? The iconic Whopper has been the subject of a massive, embarrassing class action lawsuit. Customers sued the corporation, explicitly alleging that the marketing materials drastically exaggerate the size of the burger, making the actual patty look 35% larger in photos than what you actually receive in your sad cardboard box. The company tried to get the lawsuit dismissed, but a federal judge looked at the evidence and ordered them to face the furious customers in court. When you actually unwrap the burger, the reality is bleak. Reviewers consistently describe the modern Whopper patty as gray, dry, and tasting suspiciously like artificial liquid smoke rather than actual flame-broiled beef. The buns are frequently stale, and the lettuce is wilted before it even hits the wrapper. You are paying a premium price for a rapidly shrinking sandwich at a chain that is systematically driving its own operators into financial ruin. The king is dead, but our next victim is a drive-in classic that got swallowed by a massive private equity monster. 4. Sonic Drive-In. For decades, Sonic was the ultimate American nostalgia trip. You pulled your car into a designated stall, pressed a red button, and a friendly car hop on roller skates brought you a massive chili cheese coney and a cherry limeade. It was fun. It was unique. Then, Rourke Capital entered the chat. Rourke Capital is a massive private equity firm that operates under the umbrella of Inspire Brands. They bought Sonic, and they immediately went to work stripping the soul out of the drive-in. They decided that talking to human beings was too expensive. They aggressively pushed customers toward their mobile app, but the technology was a disaster. The app routinely crashed, orders were lost in the digital ether, and the physical stalls at the restaurants fell into terrifying states of disrepair. Pull into a Sonic today, and you have a 50% chance of finding a screen that is shattered, covered in sticky syrup, or simply taped over with a handwritten out-of-order sign. But the real betrayal happened in the kitchen. To maximize their investment returns, Inspire Brands began systematically cheapening the ingredients. That iconic crushed ice that everyone loved? Many locations stopped maintaining the expensive machines required to make it. The ice cream? Read the fine print. In many cases, it legally has to be classified as frozen dairy dessert because it lacks the necessary milk fat to be called actual ice cream. It is pumped full of cheap fillers, gums, and artificial flavors. The burgers are arguably the worst casualty. Reviewers describe the meat as paper-thin, incredibly dry, and heavily oversalted to mask the lack of actual beef flavor. You are sitting in a broken parking stall, waiting 30 minutes for an app to reboot, just to receive a lukewarm, chemically enhanced burger from an underpaid worker who was stripped of their roller skates years ago. Sonic sold its soul to private equity, and they are making you pay for the funeral. That drive-in is a disaster, but the next chain on our list literally killed the classic American diner to save a fraction of a penny on a cherry. 3. Steak and Shake. If you grew up in the Midwest, Steak and Shake was a religious experience. It was a proper diner. You sat down in a booth, a server handed you a real menu, and you ordered a freshly smashed steak burger and a hand-dipped milkshake that came in a tall glass with a metal tin on the side. It was a high-quality sit-down restaurant experience disguised as fast food. Then, a billionaire investor named Sardar Biglari executed a hostile takeover of the company. Biglari is notorious in the financial world. He bought Steak and Shake and treated it like his own personal piggy bank. He famously sent out letters to his shareholders bragging about his ruthless cost-cutting measures. He bragged about removing the iconic cherry from the top of the milkshakes because it saved the company a microscopic fraction of a cent per transaction. But taking the cherry was just the beginning. Biglari completely murdered the dining room. He fired the waitstaff. He ripped out the tables and replaced them with sterile, glowing touchscreen ordering kiosks. He turned a beloved, bustling diner into a dystopian, silent waiting room. The final nail in the coffin was the beef. The entire brand identity of Steak and Shake was built on the promise of fresh, never-frozen, hand-smashed beef. To cut costs, the corporate office transitioned thousands of locations to frozen pucks of meat. They destroyed the very ingredient that gave the restaurant its name. Today, if you walk into a Steak and Shake, you order from a greasy computer screen, you sit in a sticky booth, and you eat a frozen, flavorless patty. The chain is bleeding money, closing locations across the country, and entirely running on the fumes of a reputation that died a decade ago. If watching private equity billionaires destroy your favorite childhood diners makes your blood boil, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Let's send a clear message to Wall Street that we see exactly how they are stripping our food for parts. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we expose the dark side of the restaurant industry every single week, and the corporate lies do not stop here. Done? Good. Because they killed the diner, but the next chain tried to fundamentally change how you pay for food with the most hated pricing model in modern history. 2. Wendy's spent the last decade building a reputation as the fun, edgy alternative to McDonald's. They bragged on social media about their fresh, never-frozen beef. They roasted their competitors. They made you feel like they were the good guys. Then, the mask slipped, and they revealed their ultimate terrifying corporate fantasy. In early 2024, the CEO of Wendy's got onto a private earnings call with wealthy Wall Street investors. During this call, he enthusiastically announced that the company was investing tens of millions of dollars into rolling out digital, artificial intelligence-powered menu boards across the country. Why? So they could begin testing dynamic pricing. If you are not familiar with corporate doublespeak, dynamic pricing is the exact same thing as surge pricing. It is the business model Uber uses when it starts raining, and your ride home suddenly costs 3 times as much. Wendy's was literally telling investors that they wanted the technological capability to artificially raise the price of a standard bacon cheeseburger dynamically during the lunchtime rush, simply because they knew you were hungry and stuck in line. The internet absolutely exploded. The backlash was a Category 5 hurricane of consumer rage. The sheer audacity of a fast food chain feeling entitled to financially gouge working-class Americans just because the clock struck noon was a bridge too far. Wendy's corporate headquarters went into absolute panic mode. They released a series of pathetic, backpedaling public relations statements claiming that the media misunderstood them. They claimed they actually wanted the digital board so they could lower prices during slow times to give you discounts. Nobody believed a single word of it. You do not spend $30 million on cutting-edge artificial intelligence infrastructure just to hand out coupons. They revealed their true, greedy intentions, and the American public dragged them for it. Even setting the surge pricing scandal aside, the actual food has taken a nosedive. Those famous square patties have gotten noticeably thinner. The legendary chili? It is literally made from the old, dried-out burgers that sat on the grill too long and couldn't be legally sold as a sandwich. Wendy's told you exactly who they are, and you should believe them. The surge pricing was a massive betrayal, but the absolute worst burger chain in America is selling you an $18 science experiment. 1. McDonald's. McDonald's made one simple contract with the American public for 70 years. We will give you fast, incredibly cheap food. It won't be gourmet, but it will save you money. They have completely and totally broken that contract. Between 2014 and 2024, national inflation rose by roughly 31%. In that exact same window, the prices of popular menu items at McDonald's skyrocketed by over 100%. They jacked up their prices more than 3 times faster than the actual cost of living. The internet is flooded with viral receipts of customers paying $18 for a basic Big Mac combo meal. When a fast food dinner costs the exact same amount as a sit-down meal at a local tavern, the entire business model is broken. But the astronomical prices are only half the tragedy. You need to look at what you are actually putting into your body. Let's look at the bread. The iconic squishy buns that hold that Big Mac together are packed with a chemical dough conditioner called azotocarbonamide. Do you know what else that chemical is used for? It is a commercial blowing agent used in the manufacturing of foamed plastics. It is used to make yoga mats and the rubber soles of your sneakers. In the European Union, azotocarbonamide is strictly banned from being used in human food because of potential respiratory issues and carcinogenic risks. But here in America, McDonald's uses it to keep your bun looking perfectly fluffy for weeks on end. Let's look at the famous fries. In the United Kingdom, McDonald's fries consist of potatoes, vegetable oil, a little sugar, and salt. They are simple and vegan. In the United States, those exact same fries contain a massive list of chemicals, including natural beef flavor, which contains hydrolyzed milk derivatives, making them an absolute nightmare for anyone with dairy allergies. They also contain sodium acid pyrophosphate to unnaturally preserve their color. McDonald's knows how to make cleaner, safer food. They literally do it every single day across Europe to comply with strict health laws. But they actively choose not to do it for you because the chemical alternatives are cheaper to mass produce. Add in the devastating 2024 E. coli outbreak linked to their slivered onions that hospitalized dozens of people, and the reality is glaringly clear. McDonald's is selling you heavily processed, chemically preserved food at luxury prices. They are the absolute worst burger chain in America because they expect you to fund their corporate greed while treating your health as an afterthought. The worst list is a corporate wasteland, but there is genuine hope. We begin the safe list with a chain that fundamentally refuses to own a freezer. The 5 best burger chains. 5. Five Guys. Let's address the massive elephant in the room immediately. Five Guys is expensive. A standard bacon cheeseburger, a regular fry, and a drink can easily cost you over $20. When you see that total on the cash register, it hurts. But unlike McDonald's, when you pay $20 at Five Guys, you are actually paying for uncompromising, borderline psychotic levels of food quality. Walk into any Five Guys in the world and look around the kitchen. You will notice something missing. There are absolutely no freezers anywhere in the building. There are no microwaves. Every single ingredient you eat is fresh. The potatoes for their legendary fries? They don't arrive in frozen plastic bags. They arrive in massive burlap sacks stacked right there in the dining room. Every morning, the employees wash them, slice them by hand, and soak them in water to remove the starch. Then they fry them in 100% pure, cholesterol-free peanut oil. The beef? It is a fresh proprietary blend of chuck and sirloin, formed by hand into patties every single day. There are no yoga mat chemicals in the buns. There are no artificial beef flavors injected into the oil. And more importantly, Five Guys treats the people cooking your food with respect. They are famous in the industry for offering robust bonus programs to their crews based on secret shopper performance. They pay above the minimum wage, and they cultivate a culture where the employees actually care about the product they are handing you over the counter. Yes, it is a premium price, but it is an honest price. You are not paying for a massive marketing budget or a CEO's private jet. You are paying for fresh beef, peanut oil, and human labor. Five Guys lands at number 5 because they prove that fast food can still be real food. The peanuts are great, but the next safe haven perfectly executes the smash burger without selling its soul to Wall Street. 4. Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers. If you want to know what Steak and Shake used to feel like before private equity destroyed it, you need to drive to a Freddy's. Freddy's is currently one of the fastest-growing restaurant chains in the United States, but they have miraculously managed to scale their business without sacrificing a single ounce of quality. The secret to their success is their relentless dedication to the authentic smash burger technique. When you place an order at Freddy's, your burger does not exist yet. There are no heat lamps. There are no warming drawers. The cook takes a ball of premium, fresh beef and violently smashes it onto a ripping hot grill. This technique maximizes the Maillard reaction, creating incredibly crispy, caramelized edges while keeping the center of the patty perfectly juicy. They season it with their proprietary blend of salt, pepper, and garlic, slap it on a butter-toasted bun, and serve it to you piping hot. It is a masterpiece of fast food engineering. And then there is the dessert. They do not serve you frozen dairy dessert filled with chemical gums. They serve genuine frozen custard. By legal definition, custard must contain a specific percentage of egg yolks, which makes it infinitely richer, denser, and creamier than standard fast food ice cream. It is churned fresh continuously throughout the day right there behind the counter. Freddy's is wildly successful because they run their franchise operations with an iron fist regarding quality control. If a local owner tries to cut corners or cheapen the ingredients, the corporate office will relentlessly penalize them. They understand that their entire reputation rests on the crispiness of that burger and the richness of that custard. They land at number 4 because they are saving the American diner experience from extinction. Smashing is an art, but this next regional powerhouse literally owns their own cows, and they fiercely refuse to expand if it compromises the beef. 3. Braum's. If you do not live in the American Midwest or the South, you have probably never heard of Braum's. And that is exactly by design. Braum's is a hyper-regional burger and ice cream chain centered largely around Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas. They operate under a business model that is so incredibly strict, it is almost unheard of in modern capitalism. Braum's is vertically integrated. They do not just buy their ingredients from massive anonymous supply chain vendors. They literally own their own dairy farms. They own their own processing plants. They own their own bakeries. Because they control every single aspect of the production line, they established a golden rule. No Braum's restaurant is allowed to be located outside of a 300-mile radius from their home farm in Tuttle, Oklahoma. Why? Because they refuse to use chemical preservatives. They demand that their fresh milk, their freshly baked buns, and their 100% pure beef patties arrive at the restaurants within 36 hours of leaving the farm. If a truck cannot drive there in a single day, they will not open a store there. That level of uncompromising integrity is astonishing. Wall Street investors have begged the Braum family to franchise the concept, to freeze the meat, and to expand nationwide. The family has repeatedly told them to take a hike. When you order a massive bacon cheeseburger at Braum's, you are eating beef from cows the company raised, on a bun the company baked that morning, drinking a milkshake made from milk their own farmers extracted. And because they cut out all the corporate middlemen, their prices are incredibly low. You can feed a family of 4 at Braum's for a fraction of the cost of a McDonald's run. Braum's lands at number 3 because they represent the absolute pinnacle of supply chain control and corporate honesty. If the idea of a restaurant refusing to sell out to Wall Street gives you hope for the future of food, hit the subscribe button right now. We champion the brands that do it right just as hard as we expose the ones that do it wrong. And drop a comment below letting me know, have you ever been lucky enough to eat at a Braum's? Let's keep moving. Because owning the farm is genius, but our runner-up brings genuine Midwest hospitality and fresh butter to a national scale. 2. Culver's. Welcome to the home of the Butter Burger. Culver's started in Sauk City, Wisconsin, and they have slowly expanded across the country by weaponizing 2 things: fresh Midwest beef and weaponized politeness. When you look at the fast food landscape, customer service is virtually dead. At most chains, you are treated like an inconvenience by a teenager who cannot wait for their shift to end. At Culver's, the hospitality is entirely different. The employees actually smile. They bring the food out to your table. They ask if you need extra napkins. They have managed to export authentic, small-town Midwest friendliness to over 900 locations. But the food is the real star. The Butter Burger is named for the fact that they lightly butter the crown of the bun and toast it on the grill before assembling your sandwich. It adds a layer of richness that completely elevates the meal. They exclusively use fresh, never-frozen beef sourced directly from the Midwest. Like Freddy's, every single burger is cooked to order. There are no heat lamps. But Culver's real secret weapon is their incredibly intense training program. Before a franchisee is allowed to open a new location, they are required to spend 16 grueling weeks working inside an actual restaurant in Wisconsin. They have to scrub the floors. They have to work the grill. They have to learn how to churn the fresh frozen custard. The corporate office forces the wealthy investors to physically understand the labor required to make the food before they are handed the keys to the castle. Because of this intense accountability, the quality across Culver's locations is incredibly consistent. You can order a Butter Burger in Florida, and it will taste exactly like the one in Wisconsin. Culver's lands at number 2 because they prove that you can expand a brand nationally without sacrificing your soul, your ingredients, or your manners. Butter makes it better, but the absolute best burger chain in the country is a West Coast legend that has successfully fought off Wall Street for over 70 years. 1. In-N-Out Burger. There is a reason the drive-through line is wrapped around the building at every single location. In-N-Out Burger is the undisputed gold standard of the American fast food industry. Founded in 1948 by Harry and Esther Snyder, the company is still entirely privately owned by the Snyder family today. Over the decades, massive investment conglomerates have offered them billions of dollars to take the company public. They have offered them blank checks to franchise the brand globally. The Snyder family has rejected every single offer, choosing instead to protect the integrity of their grandparents' original vision. The menu at In-N-Out has barely changed in 70 years. Burgers, fries, shakes, and sodas. That is it. They do not chase trends. They do not launch confusing, limited-time promotions to temporarily boost quarterly earnings. Their dedication to freshness borders on the fanatical. Exactly like Five Guys, there are absolutely no freezers, no microwaves, and no heat lamps in any In-N-Out kitchen. But In-N-Out takes it a massive step further. They literally own their own patty-making facilities in California and Texas. They buy whole chunks of premium beef, expertly debone them, grind the meat themselves, and deliver the fresh patties directly to the stores in their own private fleet of refrigerated trucks. Every single leaf of lettuce is hand-leafed. Every single tomato is perfectly sliced on site. The potatoes are peeled and diced in the store right in front of your eyes. But the most incredible thing about In-N-Out is how they treat their workers. In an industry notorious for paying starvation wages, In-N-Out pays incredibly well. Store managers frequently earn six-figure salaries, massive bonuses, and incredibly robust health benefits. Because they pay their people a thriving wage, their employee turnover rate is astronomically lower than the industry average. The people making your food have been doing it for years, and they are genuine professionals. And despite the fresh ingredients and the massive employee salaries, the prices remain shockingly low. You can get a legendary double-double for roughly half the price of a chemically injected Big Mac. In-N-Out is the #1 best burger chain in America because they operate as a shining, undeniable proof of concept. They prove that you can pay your workers fairly, serve incredibly fresh food, keep your prices remarkably low, and still run a massively profitable empire. They expose the greed of every other corporation on the worst list. If your money is going somewhere, give it to the chain that actually respects you. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and share this right now with someone who loves a good burger so they know exactly which drive-thrus to avoid this weekend. And before you go, drop a comment telling us your absolute favorite burger order of all time. Did your favorite spot make the best list? Or are you furious that I left them out? Let me know. If you think the fast food industry is shady, you need to see what else is happening in America. Click on that next video on your screen right now. We will see you there. Thanks for watching.